Race 2 of the BMW IBSF Women's Monobob World Cup. We're in Park City, Utah. After the first of the two heats, the top 5 sleds were covered by just 0.15 of a second. The medals were up for grabs. First on ice, Cynthia Appiah, 5th place after the first run. The bronze medalist in Whistler a week earlier in the first ever World Cup for Monobob, put in a storming second run. The track record had already been broken in the first heat by 3 different drivers, and Appiah was on her way to another new mark. It started the day at a 51.80. It was now a 51.45. Appiah had thrown down the gauntlet. Switzerland's Melanie Hassler was 0.05 of a second quicker than the Canadian driver over the first run, but 1,300 slower in the start. She was always looking to try and make up speed further down. Corner 4, though, showed that the Swiss sled didn't quite seem to have the control on the hard, fast ice that the Canadian did. Hassler was dropping away, the speed not so good, and the deficiency growing with every turn. A tap and a skid between 14 and 15 sealed her fate. She would be second place, a top 5 guaranteed. Cynthia Appiah 1 step closer to the medals. The top 3 sleds were covered by 0.04 of a second. 2 Germans tied for silver, the first of whom, Laura Nolter. She found a little more at the start as well to give herself a little bit in hand over Appiah. It was here that Cynthia's hopes were resting. The gap continued to drop, just 200s in front at the midway point. Nolter with the best speed though, and it looked as though she would keep it alive. Out of 14 to 15, she dropped into the red. The speed had gone, a skid and a hit, and Appiah was back in the medals. With the Olympic bobsleigh champion stumbling and falling behind the Canadian, her teammate Lisa Buchwitz, Olympic champion bobsleigh brakewoman in 2018, was next up. A brand new start record. She lowered her own personal mark, and Buchwitz was on fire. A really great drive, celebrating her 28th birthday as she drove herself into the lead. A 1/10 of a second in front coming down to the final 2 corners. A smooth exit, the speed was enough. She'd grabbed the lead by a slender 200s with 1 to go.
Oh, thank you.
The final one though, Kaylee Humphries, the world champion in Monobob, the Olympic champion in Monobob. After a stumble at the start when her shoe came loose because she was wearing socks unusually, she retaliated in the second heat, finding another 1,500s at the start. And although she was behind Buchwitz early on, the great American driver had the answer. She built the speed all the way down Park City's long, smooth corners to go ahead not by 400s, but by over 0.3 of a second with another brand new track record. Victory for Kaylee Humphries from Lisa Buchwitz and Cynthia Appiah, and it is Humphries who takes the lead of the World Cup standings narrowly from Appiah and Whistler winner Bianca Reeby.
Good job, Kaylee.